Hello, hello, good people. Hello, welcome back to another car conversation or Make America Think Again episode. If you just can hear my voice and you're listening to the podcast, you see down here at the bottom, for those of you that are on YouTube, all my handles for Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky is coming soon. And then, yeah. Welcome everyone. Welcome to all the new subscribers on YouTube. If you're just hearing my voice and you just listen to the podcast, I encourage you to come over and join us here on YouTube and subscribe. So listen, there's been a lot of shit happening. I literally recorded an episode. Actually, I recorded several episodes and the sound I had no sound on any of the videos. And so I was quite frustrated and pissed, but it was for good reason. You know, everything happens for a reason. So after I recorded, I attended this Zoom and I got so much more encouraging information where I was talking about a lot of the things that happen, a lot of the executive orders, a lot of things that they're trying to change and impact. And the information I gathered last night is a little bit more succinct. And then there are a couple of topics I might circle back to. I might give you that. But I do want to talk about what was shared last night because it's very, very important that we are all on the same page in regards to the information that was shared last night. So some of the information that I can share with you. Okay, so there is a strategy. There is a strategy, and it's a 3-point strategy to kind of deal with and circumvent a lot of this shit that we're seeing come at us, whether you're talking about the firing of folks in federal positions, government jobs, whether you're talking about trying to privatize education, trying to change voting, trying to restrict money going to certain areas that were hit by natural disasters, impacting FEMA, taking money away from Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all of those things, There are ways that we can be impactful collectively. And I do want to discuss that. So, number one, I want to talk about what they're going after. Clearly, they are coming after employment. Clearly, they are coming after employment. And for those of you that think that you are safe because you don't have a government job, you're not a person of color, etc. Let me break down very quickly that DEI programs. So DEI programs impact a lot more people than people of color. Women, number one, because Caucasian women have historically benefited from DEI programs and the original program, which was affirmative action. More Caucasian women are in C-suites right now because of affirmative action and these DEI programs. So if you think it won't impact you, honey, it will. It will. Also, it does not, your socioeconomic level, if you're not on their level, they don't care about you. They don't care about your job. If you are, let's say, for example, you are a white male, you are a Christian, you are heterosexual, you are cisgender, but you happen to be a veteran and you happen to be disabled because you're a veteran, you have benefited from DEI programs, or you could have benefited from DEI programs, but those programs are no longer in existence in federal and government jobs. And then corporations can still choose what they want to do. And we've already seen some corporations pull their DEI programs. So it's not only about, product that they put on the shelves or featuring creators and business owners of color. It is also about the way that people can be hired and fired at will. It's also about not being able to file discrimination, grievances or lawsuits if you are discriminated against in the workplace. A lot of it falls under that umbrella. Okay, so they're coming for employment. They're coming for education. I already did a whole video on how Project 2025 was going to impact the Department of Education. Please watch that video. There's a lot more information in that video than I'm going to share here. But this whole narrative of privatization and vouchers, etc., it's explained in that video. Please watch it. That's what they're trying to do. I also saw an attack on professors by J.D. Vance yesterday. He said that we are the enemy. He said that professors are the enemy. They want you to start believing, and I said this in a previous video as well, they want to minimize education, because if you don't further your education and you remain willfully ignorant, that gives them more control. Because one thing about when you go into higher education is not only knowledge, but we cultivate an environment for critical thinking. And they don't want you to think. They don't want you to be woke, because that's basically what woke is. Paying attention, staying alert, absorbing information in your environment. That's what woke is to Black folks. Keeping that third eye open. That's what woke is. They're trying to change it and make it something else, and they're trying to make education, higher education, into a boogie monster or the bad thing. And so I want you to understand what that is. If you were to able to seek higher education and decrease the wealth gap, because then that makes you privy to all these other opportunities and jobs, then you're getting closer to them, and they don't want that. Also, I want to share this with you in regards to this whole meritocracy versus, well, that's what I was going to share with you, but this whole meritocracy notion. So I just want to share this with you. 70% of all master's degrees have been earned by Black women. 70%. 60% of all doctorate degrees are held by African Americans combined, both male and females. 60% of doctorates, and then 70% of master's degrees. So if you were talking meritocracy, I want to touch on the definition real quick. Just want to make this point really quick. Meritocracy. I know I saved this. Hold on. Meritocracy, a ruling or influential class of educated and skilled people. So if they truly wanted a situation where across the board there was meritocracy, you would see even more Black jobs. But that's not what they want. They want mediocrity. And I'll hold that whole full conversation for another day. But let's hit on the key points that was discussed in this Zoom. So a consumer strategy is what we need to have. Oh, I'm sorry. So education, employment, I'm jumping around. Let me calm down. Education, employment, they're coming for voting as well. That whole dig at California, or trying to connect money for California to voting, that's what that was all about. We have a great system of voting. We don't stand in lines. There are many means and ways that you can vote. You can vote early. You can vote by mail. You can vote in person. We have drop boxes. Like, if you don't vote in California, it's because you really didn't want to vote. They also harass you to make sure that you are registered to vote. I'm not going to say harass, but when you go in to get your driver's license at 16, you're automatically registered to vote. If you receive any type of state assistance, trust me, there's going to be some material in there for you to register to vote. Like, it's always in your face to register to vote. So we don't have any problems with voting out here in California. Leave us the hell alone when it comes to voting. We don't stand in lines. We don't need people to bring us food. We don't do that out here. But they're coming for education, they're coming for employment, they're coming for voting, and they're also coming for the right to protest. So an important reason behind the push of Pete Hegseth to be over the Department of Defense is because if you think back to when George Floyd was murdered, and you think back to what at that time, 45, but felon 47 tried to do in regards to using the military. He questioned whether or not he could send the National Guard out um, against protesters. He also questioned whether or not he could just have people shot in the leg. This is what they want to do. They want to kill the ability for people to protest. And if they can't kill it, like take it out of the Constitution, then they want to make you too afraid to go out and protest all the shit that's coming down the pipeline. So that's the setup here, okay? How we fight back. Here's the positive. Here's the positive. So as consumers, about $2 trillion is generated just as consumers in this country. 52% of that comes directly from Black women. That's power. That's leverage. And that's what we're going to use. So you've probably heard talks and seen conversations about supporting certain companies and moving away from other companies, McDonald's, Target, Walmart, etc. We're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to strategize around that, because at the end of the day, I've said it before and I'll continue to say it until I'm gone. All these people care about is money and power. You mess with those two things and then they will pay attention to you. So we've got to put a chokehold on the money. I personally would love to see a simultaneous labor strike. So not only are we cutting off the money that's going into the corporation, we're also cutting off the corporation's ability to make money. And you say, well, Shauna, they'll just hire other people. Not if we flood their inboxes with people that they couldn't hire. And I'm just going to leave it there. So consumer strategy, that is the consumer strategy. We got to make sure we're supporting the businesses and the Black-owned businesses that that support us. And then, skip over, don't shop at those that are not. Then the constituent strategy. So not only do some of us need to start thinking about running for office, a lot of school board stuff will be coming up soon. That could be you if you don't really want to do like a senator or House of Representatives or governor, et cetera. But governor races are coming up in 2025. And then the midterm 2026, we got a lot of House races that are going to be coming up. So start paying attention to the ability to get the constituents in your area that you want to support, find ways to support them and help to get them in office. And then lastly, a commitment strategy. We have to commit to ourselves, to our communities, to our resources. So our Black businesses and our Black organizations, they help support the community strategists that are on the ground and getting people registered to vote and having conversations and educating all the voters that we're going to need. So that support system, we need to pour resources into that support system. And you can do that by supporting Black organizations and supporting Black businesses, because they are going to support the people on the ground that are doing the real work with the people. Okay, so we have a constituent strategy, a consumer strategy, and a commitment strategy. That's our three-pronged objective right now. Also, there's some other stuff I wanted to include. Oh, also I wanted to bring this to your attention. So the attack, I talked about the education, the privatization of education, but I want to make a point here. Okay, so the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment is birthright citizenship, right? The 14th Amendment came about after slavery. Okay, so to make sure that babies that were born from slaves or of slaves or by slaves, they were considered Americans. That's what the 14th Amendment was about. So it began with us. It began with Black people. Okay. Now, today, the conversation and strategy is around migrants and around transgender people. Well, transgender people mostly with the civil rights, but it's around migrants. But here's what I would pose to you to consider. They want you to other the migrants. Well, I don't care about them. They don't. Why are they in this country anyway? And they're taking up jobs and they're doing, which none of this is true. But I'm just giving you some of the narrative that I hear all the time. But understand this: if they find a way to get around birthright citizenship and get rid of the 14th Amendment through immigrants and migration and DACA, that began with us. The 14th Amendment is there because of us, because of slavery. Why would you not think that the end goal is that it would end with us? So if we take out birthright citizenship away from them, but it started with you, so therefore, do you still have citizenship? We got to connect the dots, people. We got to connect the dots and really look at where they're trying to, because they're trying to backdoor a lot of things. They're trying to backdoor a lot of our rights and take a lot of our rights away. And you got to start connecting the dots. So when they attack one group, just understand they're coming for you. Sooner or later, they're coming for you. If you don't fit that, again, white male, cisgender, heterosexual, Christian individual. So with the transgender folks, they start this whole fight with the transgender folks. Transgender folks, LGBTQI community, they are protected under our civil rights. The civil rights that Black people, our ancestors, fought so hard for. They are covered under that, along with disabled people, other groups, right? If they are able to infringe upon and take away the rights of transgender people, the LGBTQI community, then why would you not think that they're coming for your rights, Black people, as well? Because again, if these parts of the Constitution began with us and they're able to chip away at them or get rid of them altogether, then they will no longer cover us. And therein lies why it is so important for us to stop thinking about me, and ourselves as individuals, and think about this on a collective spectrum, if you will. Collectively, we need to be fighting and supporting each other, because eventually it's going to come around to you. It's going to come around to us. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say on that. And then, I want to go back to something else that was said last night, very poignant message. Observe, but do not absorb, meaning there's a lot of shit they're going to throw at us. It's like they're just throwing the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. And every day it's more of it, it's more of it, it's more of it. And it is meant to be. The intention is for it to be chaotic. The intention is for it to rile you up every other second. You can't do that. It's not healthy, and it's not going to be healthy for our fight. So observe, but do not absorb everything. Observe, but do not absorb. And here's the last thing I'm going to leave with you. Anyone out there thinking that they are going to be able to take away our rights, to get rid of constitutional rights, to roll back provisions under the Constitution for people of color, for the LGBTQI community, for disabled folks, for veterans, for all of these marginalized communities. Understand this. You will not erase our history. You will not erase our history. You will not diminish our existence. And you definitely will not control or deny our future. Understand that, because we're going to do what? Resist do not comply, and when it's necessary, stand down.